Here we are once again, folks. It's been such a pleasure. This is, in fact, SimCity 2013, the Great Domination. And here we are once again in the city of Landing, in the region of Manticore. I haven't said it like that in the longest time. So, one of the things we're going to mess around with this time around is the Mega Towers and possibly the Academy. And you'll notice that the current narration doesn't go along with the actual clip of the video because this was done in post-production rather than during the video, because the one during the video kind of broke. Kind of. Something just can't kind of break. Either way. So, here we are looking at the different mega towers. We end up starting with the apartment level and build up from there. One thing I'm still annoyed about with this region, and eventually I will end up fixing, is the fact that the universities are bugged for whatever reason. I don't know whether it's because they were built up too quick or what, but you really can't upgrade them any further in this particular region. I'm not sure why, or at least in the city. I haven't checked Yo at the Crossing yet. So we're looking at the roads now, and you'll notice when we plop the Mega Tower that the textures for the roads will change, and also the textures for the buildings will change. A more futuristic version of each, if you will. Right now we're sitting at a pleasant 115,000 residents in our city with around 30,000 in the bank. Doing fine on turbo speed, which is an hour game time is a minute hour time. Our taxes are all at 11% with no bonds taken out just yet. So I'm really excited, excuse me, about the new Cities of Tomorrow expansion. Did I just up the taxes? Yeah, I did. So going across, working our way across and down, we have low income residential at 12, medium income commercial at 12, and high wealth. Hello, Mega Tower base. High wealth. Industrial at 12. I don't know why I did it like that, but that's just the way it works. So we plop the Mega Tower base over there. Now the cool thing about the Mega Tower is not only does it have that front entrance right there on that street, and you'll notice that the textures have already changed for the streets, and the buildings around will slowly start switching. But if you see on the right hand side of the building, there's this little outlet. That's not for a walkway, that's for a street. There's 3 outlets on any Mega Tower base: the front, the left, and the right. There's no outlet on the back, sadly. As we go along, we're going to have to upgrade the streets from being, well, high density street to a medium density avenue. And that begins to become addressed later on in the video. So I realize that's not working for me. Well, it is, but it's just not. So using the arc tool, we build a smoother curve. so that way people don't actually have to turn. They're turning, but they're not turning. Just less traffic. So then we try to... Where am I going? Oh. Yeah. Little power situation we had. It wasn't really the fact that we weren't producing that much, or as much power as we needed. We are. We're actually 146.6 milliwatt hours in excess of what we actually need. However, the coal plant actually doesn't have that much coal in it because idiot me forgot to enable global coal deliveries. I forgot that was off by default with the new patches. So there you go. So that quickly resolved itself. Our sewage and water situation seemed to be all as well as our fire, police, and med, and our sanitation situation as well. So going back to the mega tower, we're trying to figure out, what are we going to build next? And I think I go back in for yet another bond. Yes, I do. We already had 100. We already had one for 100,000 out. We're going to pull another 100,000 out of the bank, and we plop something. I think we go, yeah, there we go. Apartment, medium wealth, apartment level. For those of you who are unfamiliar with SimCity or The Sims in general, their form of currency is simoleons. That's actually concurrent across all Sims games. And with SimCity, you have low wealth or single simoleon income. No, not income, just wealth. I'm doing this narration. I literally just got out of bed and I'm just doing this narration when this video was originally recorded on Wednesday, and Vegas has been having issues, and I didn't realize that the GPU rendering was enabled, which was causing my issues. I'm hoping that's what was causing my issues and not Vegas having a derpy DLL issue. Anyways, you have single simoleon or low wealth. You have dual simoleon, medium wealth, and triple simoleon, which is high wealth, which is the maximum wealth that a sim can attain in SimCity, at least at this point. That's not to say that that might change. I doubt it will, because that's one of the fundamental underpinnings of the game and how it works. And people will come at me and say, SimCity is a game? It's a simulator. Well, there are, excuse me, gamey aspects to it. And I just realized Mumble is open. That's what the Wamore with the NG icon from TF2 and the lips with the X over them is. That's the Mumble overlay. I didn't realize that actually worked in SimCity. Either way, there are gamey aspects in SimCity. Like, for instance, the universities. I'm going to go back to that again. You place a university, and I forget what the goal levels are, but for each upgrade, you have to have a certain amount of students attending classes. And then, of course, you'll see over on the right, there's different goals, one of which I achieved. I don't remember which one that is particularly. But those will pop out every once in a while, and you'll hear that little sound that played with the, and then the green check mark will go. So there are gamey aspects to this, but at its heart, it is a simulator. I will say that. Going back to the tower now, trying to assess what our next what our next plan of action is going to be. We're not at the level for the crown, as it's called, or the top level. I'm hoping eventually what I will do is rework this such that we'll have a mega tower or a couple in the city, and they'll all be linked via sky bridges. But that's another thing that has to be done, is reworking the road structure. That's going to come very slowly, and you'll see a little bit of that reworking later on in the video. I just upped all of the taxes, all wealth levels, and all RCI types to 12. Eventually, the high wealth people will start complaining, oh, high wealth taxes are too high. Well, you're high wealth, and I need money. Where am I getting that money from? You people. What's the majority of my city? Medium and high wealth. So now we're building another excuse me, medium wealth apartment level. Right now we're at around 120,000 residents, a little bit more than 120,000 residents. So we're going well. 36,000 in the bank, making 1,000, not 100, 1,000 simoleons a minute, give or take. So I was trying to figure out what to do there, and then I end up demolishing this road that runs parallel to the avenue on the right, and that ends up becoming a medium density avenue. The entire thing? No, just the section to the right of the mega tower. Eventually, that entire road will become medium wealth. This could have been better planned, but I just wanted to play with the mega tower. It's so shiny. So, not quite sure what I'm doing. I think I realized I needed to lower the road there, as it were, to create the effect that I wanted, but it was too harsh of an effect because it was such a short piece of road and it was going so deep that it actually created a more dramatic effect in the land rather than having a long piece of road and just a small variation in elevation. I think once we get more money, we'll rebuild the universities. I mean, that whole section's gonna have to be rebuilt anyways. We have pretty much all the research we need, but it's just continuing to educate the other sims, because at this point there are 2 universities in the city. There's no high school and there's no grade school, because as you go through the education specialization, you actually work your way up. So you go through the grade school, that's done. You build the high school, and you eventually start to phase out the grade school. And then the same rule, or at least this is what I've been doing. I might be doing it wrong. I was told I was doing it wrong before, but and then you eventually phase out the high school in favor of the university. Not quite sure what's happening here. So, being a slight pain. I don't know why I just did that. Because that's going to make creating the bridge even harder. Because there's so much clearance between the road and the... This is going to sound odd, though I'm going to wear this next bit. But the base of the entrance to the base of the mega tower. If that made sense. Kind of redundant. Either way. So trying to figure out how this is going to work. There we go. We fix good. Yes, I English. And so we have the same effect that I was trying to achieve earlier, but the other way around. Rather than having the ground level road go below elevation, we just have a simple bridge going over, which I was trying to do earlier, but it wasn't working with the spacing. So this ends up working. That's interesting that the textures from the mega tower only go so far on the avenue on the right. You'll notice that it goes for a couple pixels on the bottom length here, now on the left length, and then it just goes back to what I'm going to refer to as legacy for now. And then on the other side you have the same thing for a certain length. Hello, camera. And same thing, it's a bit, it goes for a little bit and stops. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do here. I'm really debating whether I should rebuild the mega tower from scratch and actually redo that entire road system in there. That might end up being a thing. Going through, getting rid of some rubble and some abandoned buildings. Mega towers functioning perfectly, and I guess at this point, folks, it's a matter of checking the mega tower and bidding you until we meet again. Good gaming.